The sage had entered into the ojas, or the vital energy of another human being. And when he did this, he started experiencing cosmic dissolution, which was a bit strange given that the person was right next to him. But he was experiencing things on a very subtle level, and it seems that what he was experiencing as cosmic dissolution was really the effects of this person's digestion. It was the effect of the humours in this person, the humours of phlegm, bile and wind, which can be related to the elements of water, fire and air. The sage continued, when the jiva is filled with vata, pitta and sleshma, that's wind, bile and phlegm, he comes under the influence of the wind and experiences distress. He sees a shower of mountains and of rocks. He hears dreadful sounds with which trees revolve in the bowels of the earth. Whole forests whirl around, and all the animals in the forests. All the trees are on fire, and there is the sound of burning issuing from the caves. He sees the collision of mountains. He sees the oceans rising to fill the entire sky, and carrying away whole forests and even clouds, lifting them up to the region of Brahma, the Creator. The whole sky seems to be clear and clean because of all this friction and rubbing within it. The three worlds appear to be filled with the battle cries of soldiers and warriors. So this is like our digestion process, but seen from within. There must be a huge amount going on its own level that we take for granted. But the point I think we can take from this is we're affected by our moods, and our moods are affected by what we eat. When thus the jiva is agitated and distressed by all this dreadful vision, he becomes unconscious. In other words, you fall asleep. And if it really is the cosmic dissolution, then you either die or you turn away from notions of creation. Like a worm which lies buried in the earth, like a frog hidden in a rock, like a fetus in the womb, like the seed within the fruit, like the unborn sprout in a seed, like an atom in a molecule, like an uncut figure in a rock, he rests within himself, undisturbed by the movement of prana, because in his resting place there are no holes or outlets. He enters into deep sleep, which is like resting inside a rock or inside a blind well. So the attention withdraws. It stops attending. When mental effort makes a hole in that resting place, then he knows the world of dreams. This is when the attention kicks in. It starts dreaming. Having been made aware of it by the movement of the life force or prana. When this life force falls from one nadi, that's a nerve channel, onto another, there is a vision of a shower of mountains. If there is too much of such movement caused by vata, pitta and sleshma, then there is a lot of such experience. If it is less, the experience is less. So this is just the movement then of the life force through our psychic nerves, our nadis. Whatever the jiva experiences within, in dream etc., on account of the vata, pitta and sleshma, that he experiences outside too, and in that field his own organs of action function appropriately. When agitated or disturbed inside and outside, he, the jiva, experiences a slight disturbance if the disturbance of the vata, pitta and kapha or sleshma is slight, and he experiences equanimity if they are in a state of balance or equilibrium. So it doesn't really matter whether you're awake or asleep. Your humours affect your mood and affect your experience. The jiva experiences all these outside when the three humours are agitated or disturbed. Burning, drowning, moving in air, resting on rocks and mountains, hell, rising and falling from the sky, hallucinations like drowning in a playground, sunshine at midnight, perversion of intelligence, in which one's own appear to be strangers and enemies appear like friends. With closed eyes these are all seen within oneself, and with open eyes these are seen outside. But all these delusions are brought about by the disturbed equilibrium of the three humours. When they are in a state of equilibrium, the jiva residing within them sees the whole world as it really is, non-different from Brahman. So we need to free ourselves from our moods, which is like freeing yourself from a heroin addiction or something very severe like that. Because in a way we are our moods, they define our reality. There's a whole list of illustrations here which seem quite bizarre, but I'm not going to look into it because the humours were really associated with medical diagnoses. And so I think what's being referenced here are maladies, symptoms of disturbance, rather than anything of any spiritual interest. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that and just take from it this thing about the moods. If you're interested in self-development, then that's what you need to look at. You need to look at your moods quite honestly and without any self-deception. And our moods are affected by our lifestyle, basically, by what we eat, by whatever exercise we take or don't take, and all the rest of it. From a spiritual point of view, we're not so much interested as working on our moods, as in freeing ourselves from our moods. And it's easy to free yourself from your moods if you're feeling balanced, if you're feeling in a state of equilibrium, if you're leading a harmonious lifestyle. But this whole thing about living a harmonious lifestyle can become a bit of an obsession in itself. And you don't want your spiritual practice to be determined by your mood. You need to be able to acknowledge your mood and then turn to Brahman. Turn to the realization of Brahman, your essential self, whatever the circumstances.